Have you ever known someone so charismatic, so persuasive, their words like silver on the tongue? What if that very gift, the power of speech, also harbored an unseen weakness, a hidden trap for true wisdom? We often believe that success lies in articulation, in debate, in having the last word. But what if the deepest wisdom, the most profound peace, blooms not in eloquence, but in the strategic, compassionate art of silence? Today, we journey into a timeless Buddhist parable that challenges our assumptions about communication and control. We'll witness a bright, ambitious young man whose greatest strength becomes his ultimate obstacle. Until the Buddha unveils a revolutionary truth. There are two profound situations in life where mastering silence is not just an act of restraint, but the very key to unlocking unshakable wisdom and lasting peace. This isn't just a story about ancient teachings, it's a direct, practical guide for anyone navigating conflict, seeking clarity, or striving for genuine transformation in a world obsessed with noise. Prepare to discover the liberating power hidden within the pauses, the unspoken words, and the profound wisdom of knowing when not to speak. Chapter 1. Rahul's Strength and His Hidden Weakness, The Quest for Wisdom. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled amidst lush fields, there lived a young man named Rahul. He was renowned throughout the community for his bright intellect and his boundless ambition. Rahul always worked incredibly hard to achieve his goals, approaching every endeavor with diligent effort and keen determination. However, amidst all his strengths, he harbored one significant, often overlooked, weakness. He simply loved to talk. Rahul was known for his silver tongue, his remarkable ability to persuade, influence, and even mesmerize people with his articulate words. He often believed that through clever rhetoric and skillful argumentation, he could navigate any situation, always coming out ahead. Despite his worldly successes, a deeper yearning stirred within Rahul. He recognized that true wisdom lay beyond mere persuasion. One day, driven by this profound quest for deeper understanding, Rahul decided to seek the unparalleled wisdom of Gautam Buddha, the great spiritual leader whose reputation for enlightenment had spread far and wide. He traveled a long way, enduring the arduous journey, just to meet the Buddha and ask for his invaluable guidance on the path to true wisdom. When Rahul finally met the Buddha, he bowed respectfully, his heart filled with earnest inquiry. "Great Buddha," he asked, his voice eager and sincere, "please teach me how to become wise like you. What is the secret to acquiring such profound insight and inner peace?" The Buddha listened patiently, his serene gaze fixed on Rahul, a gentle smile gracing his lips. "My dear Rahul," the Buddha replied, his voice soft yet resonant with ancient wisdom, "to become truly wise, you must first learn when to be silent." Rahul was utterly confused by this seemingly paradoxical answer. His mind, accustomed to the power of words, struggled to comprehend. "But Buddha," he stammered, "I always thought words were the key to success, to influence, to connection. How can being silent possibly help me become wise? It seems counterintuitive to all I've learned." The Buddha's response was direct and illuminating. "My dear Rahul, there are two crucial situations in life where you must master the art of silence. If you truly learn to do this, if you can cultivate this profound wisdom of knowing when not to speak, you will gain immense, invaluable wisdom." "What are those two situations?" Rahul asked, now intrigued, his initial confusion giving way to eager curiosity. Buddhist insight. This introduction establishes Rahul's central characteristic, his eloquence and love for talking, which becomes his primary obstacle on the path to wisdom. This highlights a common human tendency to overvalue external expression. Rahul's quest for wisdom reflects saddha, faith, and virya, effort. The Buddha's initial, paradoxical answer, "Learn when to be silent," serves as a upaya, skillful means, immediately challenging Rahul's assumptions and drawing him into a deeper teaching. The silver tongue represents a strength that, without mindfulness, can become a source of unskillful actions, right speech gone awry, reinforcing ego and hindering true wisdom. Chapter 2. The Two Profound Silences, Mastering the Mind's Impulses. The Buddha then revealed the two profound situations where silence is not merely the absence of sound, but an act of profound wisdom and self-mastery. The first situation, the Buddha explained, is when you are angry. When you are angry, Rahul, your mind is clouded by negative emotions, by resentment, by frustration, by rage. In such a state, your words, no matter how clever or well-intentioned you believe them to be, will only add fuel to the fire. They will escalate the conflict, deepen the wounds, and harm both yourself and others. You must learn to be silent, to hold your tongue, and let your anger dissipate before you speak. Allow the storm within to pass naturally, without giving it voice. Rahul nodded in agreement, a glimmer of recognition in his eyes. He, with his quick wit, knew how often his angry words had exacerbated situations. I understand, great Buddha, he said, reflecting on his own past experiences. What is the second situation? The Buddha continued. The second situation is when someone else is angry. When someone else is consumed by anger, they are not in a receptive state of mind. Their reason is clouded. Their emotions are volatile. Your words, no matter how logical, how persuasive, or how well-meaning, will only fall on deaf ears. They will be misunderstood, misinterpreted, and will only serve to further agitate the angry person, or even draw you into their emotional storm. You must learn to be silent, to wait patiently, and to observe until they are ready to listen. Only then can your words have any positive impact. Rahul was profoundly impressed by the Buddha's words. He knew, intuitively, that this was a wisdom far deeper than any rhetoric he had ever mastered. He realized that he had a great deal to learn from the wise sage. Knowledge that transcended the superficial power of speech. He made a heartfelt decision. He would stay with the Buddha and dedicate himself to learning from him, to mastering this profound art of silence and inner wisdom. Over the next few months, Rahul learned a great deal from the Buddha. He diligently learned how to meditate and quiet his restless mind, observing his thoughts without judgment. He learned how to see the world with boundless compassion, karuna, and deep empathy. He learned how to be mindful, sati, and present in each moment, grounding himself in the here and now. The Buddha's teachings were transforming him from a master of words to a master of self. Buddhist insight. The Buddha's teaching on the two silences directly addresses right speech, samavaka, and right mindfulness, samasati. Two crucial components of the Noble Eightfold Path. Silence when angry. This directly counters dosa, hatred, aversion. Speaking while angry fuels the fire, leading to unskillful actions and negative karma. It emphasizes self-control and allowing negative emotions to dissipate through observation, rather than acting on them. Silence when others are angry. This is an act of karuna, compassion, and upaya, skillful means. It acknowledges that an angry person is not receptive, and engaging verbally can escalate conflict. It teaches patience, empathy, and the wisdom of choosing the right moment to speak. Rahul's decision to stay with the Buddha and learn reflects the deepening of his saddha, faith, and viriya, effort, marking a genuine commitment to his spiritual journey. His learning of meditation, compassion, and mindfulness signifies his progression on the path. Chapter 3. Rahul's transformation, wisdom in action. One day, as Rahul was walking mindfully in the forest, his senses attuned to the tranquility of nature, he heard a commotion. He investigated and saw a group of people gathered around a man who was shouting furiously and waving his arms wildly. The man was clearly angry about something, his face contorted with rage, his voice echoing through the trees. Rahul, immediately recalling the Buddha's profound words, made a conscious decision. He would be silent. He watched as the man ranted and raved, his emotions spiraling, but Rahul didn't utter a single word. He waited patiently, maintaining his inner calm, until the man had utterly exhausted himself, his voice hoarse, his anger slowly deflating. After a few minutes of this intense, one-sided outburst, the man finally calmed down, catching his breath, and looked at Rahul, who had been standing silently throughout. "Why didn't you say anything?" the man asked, his voice now bewildered, tinged with a strange curiosity. "Why didn't you argue back, or tell me to be quiet?" Rahul smiled gently, his face radiating the newfound peace he had cultivated. "Because," he replied, his voice calm and clear, "I knew that your anger was clouding your mind. I didn't want to say anything that would make the situation worse, or draw your anger towards myself." The man was truly taken aback. He had never met someone like Rahul before. He was accustomed to people either fighting back aggressively or simply running away in fear. He looked at Rahul with newfound respect, recognizing an extraordinary wisdom in his silence. "You are a wise man," he said, humbled. "I wish I could be like you." Rahul smiled, his compassion shining through. "You can be," he replied, "if you learn to be silent when you are angry, and when someone else is angry." The man nodded in agreement, a seed of wisdom planted in his own heart, and walked away deep in thought, perhaps beginning his own journey of mindful communication. From that day on, Rahul became known as a truly wise and respected person in his community. He no longer used his words carelessly, but used them thoughtfully and skillfully, speaking only when he had something valuable to say. When his words could bring benefit or clarity, people came to him from far and wide for advice and guidance. And he was always happy to help, sharing the wisdom of his own transformation. Buddhist insight. This demonstrates Rahul's successful application of the Buddhist teaching. His silence in the face of the angry man is a perfect example of right mindfulness, samma sati, leading to right speech, samma vaka. He observes the situation without personal entanglement, choosing a skillful non-response. This allows the angry man's dosa, hatred, to dissipate naturally. Rather than being inflamed by an argument, the angry man's eventual respect for Rahul shows the power of metta, loving kindness, to disarm hostility without confrontation. Rahul's reputation for wisdom solidifies his progression on the Noble Eightfold Path. Particularly in the domain of sila, ethical conduct, his life becomes a living Dhamma, inspiring others. Chapter 4. The Legacy of Silence, a Timeless Principle. Years passed, and Rahul grew old, his life a testament to the wisdom he had embraced. He knew that his time on earth was drawing to an end. One day, filled with gratitude and a desire for one last communion with his teacher, he decided to visit the Buddha one final time. When he arrived at the Buddha's temple, he saw that many people had gathered to hear the Buddha speak. Just as they had in his youth, Rahul sat down among the crowd, a humble disciple once more, and listened as the Buddha spoke about the importance of mindfulness and compassion, the very truths that had transformed his own life. When the talk was over, Rahul approached the Buddha and bowed respectfully, his heart overflowing with deep appreciation. The Buddha looked at Rahul with a warm, knowing smile. "Welcome back, my dear friend," the Buddha said, his voice imbued with profound affection. "It is good to see you again." Rahul returned the smile, his eyes reflecting immense gratitude. "Thank you, great Buddha," he said. "I have come to thank you for teaching me the wisdom of being silent in two situations. It has fundamentally changed my life and helped me become a better, wiser person." The Buddha nodded in understanding. "I am glad to hear that, my friend," he replied. "But remember, the wisdom comes from within you. I only showed you the way. You're the one who walked it." Rahul bowed respectfully again. "I understand, great Buddha," he said, "but I will always be grateful to you for guiding me." The Buddha smiled and replied, "You have learned well, my friend. Now it is time for you to pass on your wisdom to others. Your journey is not just for yourself." Rahul nodded in agreement. "Yes, great Buddha, I will do my best to share what I have learned with others." And so, Rahul spent the rest of his days sharing the profound wisdom of being silent in two situations with anyone who would listen. Becoming a teacher and mentor in his own right, he became known as a great teacher and mentor in his community. And his words touched the hearts of many, guiding them towards peace and understanding. When Rahul passed away, his legacy lived on. His teachings were passed down from generation to generation, and his words continue to inspire people for centuries to come. The lesson of being silent in two situations, initially brought to Rahul by Gautam Buddha, became a guiding principle for countless people around the world. It reminded them to be mindful of their words and to use them wisely, always with kindness and compassion. As the years went by, the teachings of Rahul spread far and wide, inspiring many people to live a more mindful and compassionate life. His words became the basis for many books, and his teachings were studied by people all over the world. One day, a young man named Sujit stumbled upon the teachings of Rahul. He was going through a difficult time in his life and was searching for guidance. The words of Rahul spoke to him in a way that nothing else had before, resonating deeply with his soul. Sujit decided to seek out the teachings of Rahul in person. He traveled to the monastery where Rahul had once studied under Gautam Buddha. When he arrived, he was greeted by a kind and wise monk who showed him around the monastery. As they walked, Sujit saw the places where Rahul had once meditated and studied. He felt a deep sense of reverence for the man who had taught him so much. The monk noticed Sujit's reverence and asked him, "What is it that draws you to the teachings of Rahul?" Sujit replied, "His words speak to me in a way that nothing else has before. They remind me to be mindful of my words and to use them with kindness and compassion. I want to learn more about him and his teachings." The monk smiled and replied, "You have come to the right place. Rahul's teachings are still studied and followed here. I will introduce you to the other monks, and they can help you learn more." And so Sujit spent the next few months studying the teachings of Rahul and diligently practicing mindfulness and compassion. He learned the importance of being silent in two situations, just as Rahul had before him. When Sujit left the monastery, he felt like a new person. He had a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. He knew that the teachings of Rahul would guide him for the rest of his life. Years went by, and Sujit became a teacher himself. He shared the teachings of Rahul with anyone who would listen, just as Rahul had done before him. He touched the lives of countless people, inspiring them to live a more mindful and compassionate life. And so the teachings of Rahul lived on, passed down from generation to generation. They continue to inspire people to be mindful of their words and to use them with kindness and compassion. And through this ripple effect, the world became a better place because of it. Buddhist insight. This section highlights the lineage of teachers in Buddhism and the importance of passing on the Dhamma. Rahul's return to the Buddha, now as an elder, signifies the culmination of his practice. The Buddha's affirmation, "Wisdom comes from within you," reinforces the principle of self-reliance and that the teacher merely shows the way. Rahul becoming a teacher and his legacy continuing through Sujit exemplifies right livelihood, samma jiva, and right effort, samma vayama, in the context of spreading the Dhamma. The widespread impact of his teachings demonstrates the power of the Dhamma to transform not just individuals, but entire communities and societies, creating a more mindful and compassionate world through a chain of awakened beings. The emphasis on mindful words, with kindness and compassion, reinforces right speech, samma vaka, as a core practice for collective well-being. Conclusion. The profound echo of silence, your path to lasting wisdom. The timeless parable of Rahul and the two profound silences offers us a revolutionary understanding of true communication, conflict resolution, and the very essence of wisdom. It challenges our conditioned belief that constant verbal engagement is always beneficial, revealing instead the immense, transformative power that lies in knowing when not to speak. True wisdom, as the Buddha revealed through Rahul's journey, blossoms not in the noise of arguments or the pursuit of fleeting victory, but in the profound, discerning stillness of a mindful heart. Key learnings for your personal Buddha story. Silence as a tool of wisdom, prajna. True wisdom is often expressed not through eloquent words, but through the judicious application of silence. Knowing when to hold your tongue is a mark of profound self-mastery. Application. Practice conscious pausing before responding, especially in heated moments. Ask yourself, will my words bring clarity, kindness, or unnecessary conflict? Choose to speak only if your words improve upon the silence. Disarming anger with non-reaction, upekkha, when you are angry, or when someone else is angry. Speaking immediately only fuels the fire. Silence allows the emotional storm to dissipate naturally, protecting your inner peace and preventing escalation. Application. When anger arises within you, or is directed at you, observe it without judgment. Breathe deeply. Create a mental space between the emotion and your response. This allows the anger to burn itself out without causing further harm. The inner source of wisdom. The Buddha affirmed that wisdom comes from within. The teacher merely shows the way. The true path is walked through personal experience and diligent practice. Application. Trust your own intuition and the insights that arise from your mindful practice. Don't seek wisdom solely from external sources. Cultivate your own inner knowing through meditation and reflection. Right speech, samma vaka, is a path to peace. The story underscores the vital importance of using words mindfully, with kindness, compassion, and a clear understanding of their potential impact. Speaking only when there is something valuable to say cultivates harmony. Application. Before you speak, consider, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it beneficial? Cultivating mindful speech transforms your interactions and strengthens your relationships. The ripple effect of awakened lives. Rahul's transformation and his subsequent teaching created a positive ripple effect, inspiring countless others. Your personal journey of wisdom and compassion can also illuminate the path for those around you, making the world a more mindful and compassionate place. Application. Recognize that your own practice and inner peace have a subtle, yet powerful, influence on your environment. By cultivating wisdom, you contribute to the collective well-being, becoming a beacon of light for others. The Buddha's teaching through the parable of Rahul invites us to embark on a transformative journey, from being slaves to our impulses and words, to becoming masters of our minds through the profound, discerning power of silence. It is a path to lasting wisdom, genuine peace, and a life lived with intentional kindness. This is the essence of your authentic Buddha story. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. How will you practice the wisdom of silence in your own life this week to cultivate deeper peace and understanding? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.